Terrible things are going to happen. This is message 482, and this message is dedicated to the memory of Dale Carnegie. Terrible things are going to happen. What things, Chad? You name it. If you can imagine it, it's probably going to happen. I hope it doesn't all happen to you, but somewhere to someone, a terrible thing is going to happen. Really terrible, horrible, no good things. You may be thinking, Chad, what kind of message is this? You're worrying me. Well, this is actually a message about stopping worry in your life. Well, you may say, this is a weird way to go about helping my worrying. Not really. If you look back on your life so far, you've probably experienced some terrible things. And it's not just your life, though. History is a long list of terrible things. It's said that history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. So you can expect some similar bad things will happen in the future. In the book, The Tao of Charlie Munger, he is quoted as saying, I don't think it's terribly constructive to spend your time worrying about things you can't fix. As long as when you're managing your money, you recognize that a terrible thing is going to happen, and the rest of your life, you can be a foolish optimist, end quote. We know the news stokes worry, but it is self-deception because there's no answer to the question, so what? Whatever the news story, at the end, if you ask yourself, so what? You suddenly realize what a waste of time that was. There's typically no call to action. I'm not going to do anything about a wildfire that's raging 1,500 miles away or a musician who has abused people. There's really nothing for you to fix after you've listened to that news story or read a news article. Dale Carnegie is known for his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is almost 100 years old, but full of perennial advice. But an equally evergreen topic that Carnegie addresses is worry in his book, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. One of his principles is to be willing to have it so. Be willing to have it so. Carnegie actually lifted this principle from William James, who would tell his students, be willing to have it so. Be willing to have it so, because acceptance of what has happened is the first step in overcoming the consequences of any misfortune. I would add, to rephrase Munger, acceptance of what will happen is the second step. A terrible thing has happened. That's reality. Are you going to fight reality? More terrible things are going to happen. That's reality. Are you going to fight reality? So here's the point. When we come to a point of acceptance, worry has lost its fuel. Do what you can. Manage the best you know how and leave the rest. Be willing to have it so. Terrible things will happen. You'll figure it out. And things you can't figure out, you'll learn to deal with it. You've survived up to now. Continue to do your best and leave the rest.